What's up, everybody? So I am back. I had a little busy 3 months there with my newborn number three. So back at it here to bring you some good information about the craft beer industry. Um, I want to make this like a craft beer challenge overall. It's everything craft beer. The reason being, one of my favorite statistics about craft beer is the growing market share that's been growing since at least 2010 and beyond. But even when the overall craft beer or the overall U.S. beer market shrunk by barrels, the craft beer barrels grew, which is a interesting statistic because even as the craft beer decides to still grow, even in COVID economic turmoils, um, it's still growing amongst a shrinking beer market, which means it's here to stay. I've heard so many times, oh, this craft beer thing's it won't last. It's a fad. Da 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 da. Okay, a fad is when you try a new diet that you have to change drastically how you lived your life for a short period of time, maybe 30 days in a diet, and then you stop and you're getting all the weight back. That's a fad. There's fads within the craft beer market. Hazy beers come and go. That's probably still going to be here for a little while. The sours kind of dip down for a while. Your dessert beers kind of come and go, but the brute IPAs are already kind of gone for the most part. So those are fads within the craft beer market. But let's define fad. How's that? An intense and widely shared enthusiasm for something, especially one that is short-lived and without basis in the object's qualities or craze. That was what a fad is, short-lived. But it's been growing for years now. So it's not a fad and it's here to stay. Now, let's go into why that's not going to go away either. Most likely, most craft beer drinkers started by drinking other yellow fizzy bland beer for years and were still enjoying being a beer drinker. But once they decided to try craft beer and switched, they're likely not going back. I know some people that will still buy a 12 pack of High Life or PBR or whatever, but for the most part, most of what they drink is craft beer, and that has it's not going away. That is going to still grow. So my challenge is, what can that do to grow to maybe 25% craft beer market share of the U.S. beer market? One, um, disclaimer: yes, I know COVID's still going on. It's July of 2020, and there's still a lot of lockdowns happening. But beer festivals. Now, festivals don't pop up overnight, so this is how you can prepare for next summer, hopefully, to have more craft beer festivals, or even try to do some online type of things just to get more recognition for craft beer in your brewery, maybe, or your craft beer bar or something. Um, but what if you add an educational booth to this whole thing? So if you go to um, a festival and you want to try different beers, but you're like, wow, I'm not really sure what's going on. Well, if there's an educational booth or something like that that could be sponsored by like your local beer guild. I know Michigan has the Michigan Beers Guild. They should do this. They should make an educational booth where you can show the grain, show hops, talk about yeast and water and how it all comes together and why it's so good because it's all fresh and everything. Well, if you had an educational type thing, more people are willing to try. There was a lot of craft beers that I wouldn't try initially when I first got into craft beer because there is um, so much going on. I was like not afraid, but I didn't want to spend money on a beer that I wasn't gonna like. Now I'm trying everything new every time something new comes out. It's more fun that way. I still have my go-tos as well, but you got to educate some people because they're like, oh, I don't like craft beer because it's hoppy. Well, not all of it's hoppy. You have to know that there's not uh, just hoppy craft beer. There's multiple kinds of craft beers. There's brown ales and stouts that are, not hoppy at all. There's brown ales and stouts that are hoppy. But if there's more education out there of what they're maybe looking for can kind of help them steer in that direction, they're more willing to try. That's just what I've seen. Um, what I think would be a really cool idea is like a collaboration sixer. So I'm here in Michigan, and I know there's a lot of great Colorado and California breweries in North Carolina. There's some like in Maine, some of the big ones that come to mind. Um, and you have like your mid-sized 15 to 30 barrel breweries, right? That will never probably make it to distribution this far. But what if they did a collaboration of six of those type of breweries, and they put each a beer inside there, a stout, an IPA, doesn't matter, maybe all IPAs, doesn't matter, and you distribute that to different states further out. Well, now you have more um, choices to talk about and uh, a bigger reach. And then Michigan can do the same to other states as well. And you have more, when there's something new, more people are willing to try it. This gives, it wouldn't be a constant thing because the distribution probably have a hard time um, doing that all the time. But it would be a cool way to kind of boost up some, um, not only sales, but just more people to talk about craft beer. Um, what a lot of folks don't see, unless you have a really good brewery in your area, is a rising tide raises all ships. So a lot of local breweries would do like a cool fundraiser once a year and help out the local community. Well, if more businesses got involved with that the whole support anything local thing would have a bigger chance of sticking harder. Um, so I would like to see more of that too. That will help raise the craft beer conversation to help grow. Um, what about just challenging your friends? How about, oh, I'll only drink Miller Lite or I'll only drink PBR and I'll never change. Well, it goes back to that whole education thing. Well, let's talk about what you do like. Why don't you try this a little bit? I'll give you some of mine. It's all good. And then all of a sudden you have something that might like craft beer more. So those are a few different challenges that I kind of came up with, or tips, I guess, to get to the challenge of a craft beer market share of 25% in the U.S. market. I think it's possible. Challenge your friends. Challenge your friend to go to a beer festival once COVID's over, and I think that will be something that can help um, make craft beer bigger.